prison, and not the prison, the hospital in Ajo. The hospital in Ajo, it's a haunted hospital. I picked up a child. And I picked up a woman, and then there was a mean spirit. There was a shadow person, a shadow thing. And shadows are bad. Shadows are 99% bad. Most of the time, they're 99% bad. And so I went down to the children's ward. I told him, I said, I'm going to take my microphone and go down to the children's ward and stuff. And so I went down to the children's area, where it used to be the children's area. And I actually picked up a little girl spirit. And my friend and I were down there, and we were leaving toys out there. We put toys out there. And the ones with the, EPPs on them, and they'd go, da, 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 when the spirits touch them, And they make music and stuff, So we were doing that, and the music went off and everything. We got some of that on the video. That was fun. We got that on there. What do you do to protect yourself? Oh, I call Archangel Michael before I go in. I always call Archangel Michael to protect me. And I always say before I leave that place, I came here alone and I leave alone. I came here alone and I leave alone. So no unwanted spirits are allowed to follow me home. No unwanted spirits are allowed to follow me home. And I always say, I come here alone and I leave alone, So, and it was so funny because I had a loose fitted top, because sometimes we get into weird places, And I had a very loose fitted top, and you could see this child, pretend this was the lower part of my top. You could literally see the child tugging on my lower part of my outfit, the lower part. And we got that on video. Hi, Heaven, how you doing? So we actually got that on video. We got that on video. And then the little girl, we got her playing with the toys upstairs. And so we did that. And then I told her, okay, well, I'm going to go down here and investigate down here. And she told me, no, the bad man's over there. And she didn't want to go over there. The little girl didn't want to go over there. And I said, oh, guys, the bad man's over there. Why don't you guys go check the investigation over there? I'll stay here with the little girl. I'll stay here with the little girl ghost. And you guys go check out the bad guy. They go, oh, yeah, so we can get attacked? I said, yeah, you guys could go check out the bad guy. I'm going to stay here with the little girl. And then they came back and they said, we're not getting anything. Can you come over? And I go, I'm staying here with the little girl. Don't you see me playing with the little girl? And so I didn't go over there. I told him, I said, no. I started to, and then I saw the shadow, and I was like, no, I think I'll stay over here. You guys go over there. You guys go. I see the shadow. They're right there. I'll tell you where it's at, and you guys go over there. But I stayed back. I was lurking. Been lurking. Love the stream so much. Oh, I'm glad. So that one was interesting. I did send the child to the light, though. I sent the child to the light. Now, they would have been pissed if they knew I did that, but I sent the child to the light, So, also at that hospital, it was a very dirty hospital. We had to wear masks. So that we didn't breathe in all that garbage. And we asked the spirits to put fingerprints on the countertop. Because it was real dusty, and we said, we left the cameras watching the counter, and we said, put fingerprints on the counter. Can you put some fingerprints on the counter? We'll check back before we leave. Sure enough, when we came back, there was like little fingerprints on the counter. So it had to have been a child, because there were small handprints. Wow, I didn't know a shadow was bad. Yeah, some shadows are bad. Only 1/10 of the shadow people are not bad. 1/10 is not bad. But 99% of the time, shadow people are bad. Poltergeists are the worst. Poltergeist is the worst. You know, they're the worst. They're man-made. And they're harder to get rid of, and they're very violent. Very violent. They're the one. Poltergeists are usually the ones that are opening up the cabinets, you know, bang, 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 and throwing things at you, you know, across the room and stuff. You know, poltergeists are bad. Poltergeists are bad. You read my mind, Jupiter. I was typing that also. So, yeah. And then I got bit once, and it took me about 6 months to get rid of that bite. And it got really infected. The bite got infected, you know. And trying to explain that to your doctor, how you got bit, you know. I got bit here on the side. I got bit here on the side, you know. So, and that took about 6 months to heal. That just wouldn't heal. That was not healing at all. And so I went to a faith healer. I went to a faith healer. Everything I did wasn't helping it. So I went to the doctor, and he wasn't helping it either. So, so yeah. And then I got bit. I got an ashtray thrown across the room and hit me on the head once. And that took a couple stitches. It was like up in here, you know. And that took a couple stitches. It literally threw off the fireplace. The fireplace was across the room. And when I was telling them, okay, well, we'll just have to cleanse the house and get rid of all the unwanted spirits. And this ashtray came across and went right in my head. Right in my head. You know. That hurt. Plus my head was bleeding a lot. It was bleeding a lot. So, head wounds always bleed anyway. They bleed a lot, you know. So, but yeah, so that's scary. Laughing out loud. I don't mess with paranormal. I really like paranormal stuff. You should see all my equipment. I have a lot of equipment. But it's a pain in the butt to take it to all the investigations, you know. You know, we all have paranormal equipment and stuff like that, and it's really a pain. It's a pain. I just have the equipment so the other people can use them. I don't need equipment because I can communicate without equipment, but for the other people that can't afford the equipment, I just have mine and they can use mine. The bad thing is you always have to bring tons and tons of batteries. Tons and tons of batteries because I don't care if they're rechargeable batteries. Spirits zap the batteries. They just zap the energy right out of the batteries, you know. You could have a brand new battery and it would zap it. It would zap the batteries, you know. Unfortunately, it would just zap the batteries, okay? So, but yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. So like one of the questions somebody told me or asked me one time, you know, do you have to be smart to be psychic? Do you have to be smart to be psychic? You know, one does not have to have a high IQ to become efficient in psychic awareness. So, sometimes people have a high intelligence and can't inhabit their abilities at a psychic at all. They can't. So some people are so high up in the IQ, they can't fathom it. They can't do it. So you don't have to be smart to be a psychic. You don't have to be smart to be a psychic, okay? So, you know, and it's like, what is the difference between a psychic and a medium and a channel? And channeling, okay? Everybody is psychic in one form of another. Everybody is psychic in one form and another, okay? You just have to build your intuitiveness up. So it is up to each of us to develop our psychic awareness and our intuitiveness. A medium is a psychic who has fine-tuned his or her experience in the extrasensories perceptions. So what we're doing is we're tuning into a higher frequency, and that interfaces with the spirits in the other dimensions. So what they do is they bring their energy down to us, and we bring our energy up to them. So we're bringing our frequencies so that we can connect with them. But there is different levels of psychics, and there's different levels of mediums, okay? So it depends on your ability to maintain the level, okay? All mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums. Not all psychics are mediums, okay? Not all psychics are mediums. What did you write? Sometimes I wonder if I cause I tell my mom what's going to happen. Yeah, you could be a psychic to do that. That's premonition. That's a form of premonition, okay?